Hi, welcome back to 1/6 RC Tank Workshop. In my last couple of videos we looked at my latest addition to the Panzer collection, the Panzer III. I completely disassembled the kit and now it's time to clean up and prepare. So in this video we'll look at some rust removal techniques. I'll get the parts cleaned up and I'll start etch priming. Here's one of the lower hull sections of the Panzer III. It's been cleaned up and etch primed. It's important to apply the etch primer at this stage. The different metals in contact with each other can cause some corrosion issues. So it's important to get everything etch primed at the start before assembly. The etch primer has an acid content that chemically bonds to the metal. It gives a better preparation finish for final painting. In the video where I was taking the vehicle apart, I showed you some of the steel plate rust corrosion on them. It's fairly light on these big parts, but I could sand it off. I'm going to try a rust removal product, as one of my next projects will have probably quite a bit of rust and rust in some inaccessible places. So I'm going to try a product to clean the rust. So this is the product I'm using, Evapo-rust. It's supposed to be fairly non-caustic, no acids or anything. Trying to find a container big enough to take some of the longer parts was quite difficult. So I've just used a polythene bag to line a cardboard box. Hopefully it won't leak. We leave it for a few hours and see how it works. Once all the rust is removed and everything is dry, to stop any further corrosion, I'll etch prime. So let's have a look at our progress with rust removal. It's done a very good job. I didn't have to do anything, no agitation or anything. It's cleaned everything. So next will be to wash off and get dry. I will clean it with alcohol and then it's ready to start etch priming. Even this small bent piece of steel, which was the track hanger, it was really rusty, came up perfectly clean. I won't be using this piece, but I'll straighten it out. I'll use it for something else. Here I've set up some of the newly cleaned metal, including the brackets, most of which were very rusty. They've all cleaned up really well. Pretty much all the steel parts have cleaned at this stage. I'm just cleaning the base of the tank at the moment and the mud guards. But first I'm going to etch prime these steel parts before they start to corrode again. I'm happy that everything is rust free. I've washed off the Evapo-rust, dried and cleaned again with alcohol. I don't normally do my spraying in the workshop, I usually do it outside, but it's winter time in Ireland, it's wet and miserable. So I've set up this temporary spray booth. It's just a box that I've opened out and I've tried to cover everything as much as possible. I've got my vacuum cleaner on here. I have a fan as well, but I'm just using the vacuum cleaner to extract some of the fumes, and I'll be wearing a mask. Here we have U-pol Acid 8, the etch primer. It's a pretty good one. With its acid content, it's a pretty nasty product. Do wear a respirator at all times with this product. I have my workshop doors open, so plenty of ventilation, and I'll put on the vacuum as well. I'll spray a couple of light coats like this, so I'll let this dry for a while. Here you can see the base of the hull. It's been successfully cleaned with the Evapo-rust. And here, these awkward parts. It would have been very awkward to get in with a sander. No more work needed. This was straight out of the Evapo-rust. Rinse off with some water, dry, and then clean with alcohol. No sanding. Here you can see I now have many of the hull components cleaned and etch primed. Here's the base of the vehicle. I'm letting the etch primer dry. Once the etch primer is dry, I'm wrapping the individual pieces to protect them from scratching. Small parts like these hatches, they've all been cleaned with alcohol and bagged. All the brackets bagged, cleaned, separated and etch primed. Here you can see all the wheel and suspension components have been cleaned and bagged. These are the components that will require the most work. Lots of detail to add to these. The armour plates for the Armortek models are very smooth aluminium and steel. I want to put a bit of texture into the metal because the Panzer III in particular won't have any Zimmerit coating. Zimmerit was introduced after the Panzer III went out of production, so Panzer III's never had any Zimmerit. I want to put a sort of a rolled steel effect. I put some texture in this sheet and I'll show you how I do that. I'm using one of these cutter heads on my hand drill. I'll continue to mark the armour plate like this. Now you see how I've scored the armour all over. Once etch primed and I assemble the hull, I'll also add some Mr. Surfacer 500. So that's all for this video. So thanks for watching, thanks for continuing to support the channel. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. All subscriptions are appreciated. In the next video, I'll commence on reassembly of the vehicle. So stay tuned to keep up with progress. I'll be making many modifications along the way to this vehicle, making many of my own components and improving the kit components. Let me know in the comments if there's anything in particular you'd like to see more work on. I'll put up a couple of videos here, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.